Testing? Oh. That's so funny. I've been talking the whole time. For 11 minutes I've been talking to myself and no one could hear me. So was it quite soft earlier? I've been having problems with my headphone. Hey Game Ranger, what's happening? Okay. So we're gonna, I suppose you guys heard nothing. So we're gonna have to rewind a little bit. I'm gonna have to retell my story about the FIA GT, the Nations Cup. But first, let's do this race. I've been knocked down on the SRs. It's been an absolute nightmare. It happened yesterday. I went from SR, Sports Ranking S, to Sports Ranking B. I'm trying to recover, which means doing a whole bunch of races now. My connection is also quite laggy. It's just one of those days. Yesterday, I felt like I was racing quite clean. And unfortunately, I got caught up in like a 5-way fight for the lead in daily race A, and there was just so much bumping and barging. I got hit off the track, tried to recover, and at the end of it my sports ranking got absolutely murdered. So here we are at my least favorite track in the game. Well, maybe Fuji is my least favorite, but this is one of my least favorites for racing, because it's really easy to get hit or hit someone off the track if you're taking a sort of flowing style or stop-start style. I'm more flowing in this track. I prefer that sort of technique to extract lap time, whereas some of the other drivers like to brake late, attack the apex, oh damn, almost swore there, and hit me, or I hit them, because in the flowing style they stop the car to rotate it. I'm trying to carry the speed into the corner, and that leads to quite a lot of contact and sports ranking penalties. So I'm not using the best sort of track or daily race to regain my sports ranking, but daily race A specifically is just a boxing match. Even though it's quite a fun boxing match, unfortunately it's just too risky to race it because of the SR penalties that you get. Okay, so I'm going to give you another rundown of this track. But the microphone was off. It feels like, if it sounds like my voice is a little bit muffled, it's because I'm slightly sick from the travel, but almost recovered. You want to brake at sort of 70 meters for this corner, turn 1, carry the speed into the apex. Not easy to do. It's easy to, when you try and maximize it, is just to run wide and miss the apex. Easy, it should be easy flat through the left-hander, but depending on the car, you will get oversteer on the power. I don't enjoy that when I'm under intense battles. Braking at 100 meters, try get the car straight as soon as possible so you can get on the power early. Obviously clipping the second apex, maximizing the exit, let the car run out, and then carry the speed up the hill, using the power to rotate the car. I like to brake as early as possible into this corner and then carry the speed down the hill. I don't want to be in first gear. I wish there was like 1.5 gears in this car. And then stay close as you can to the curb there, lifting just to get the car to rotate, all with the aim of getting a good run to the last corner, which again, turn in as early as you can, clip the curb, get the car pointed straight and get up the hill as quickly as you can. If you carry too much speed into the last corner, you're going to understeer too long past the apex, you're going to lose out on the rotation, and you're going to lose time up the hill. So it's a balance. The technique that I use on this track is very similar to the way I used to drive a kart. In karting, you want to get on the power as late as possible, because if you get on the power in a kart, and this is where this game gets it really wrong, the rear wheels sit on the ground and they push you forward, creating understeer, or what we call bogging, where there's like just no acceleration. Whereas in this game, in a kart, you want to get on the power as early as you can before the apex. So they completely screwed up the true dynamics of a kart in this game, and I avoid any FIA race where that's a requirement. Okay. Speaking of karting, my friend Cristiano Morgado, who's a driver I used to look up to, still do, in my karting days, he won his 5th World Rotax Max karting title, which is unbelievable. The guy is the grandmaster of karting, specifically Rotax. He won it in the DD2 Masters class, and what's more impressive to me, more than anything, is that 4 years ago, in 2014, he essentially had a broken neck from a karting accident, and the doctors said that he would never be able to race again, because even though he didn't need an operation and he needed a long recovery, he wouldn't be able to apply the same forces that he used to his neck in a kart, which effectively ruled him out of the thing he loved doing most, which is racing. He was one of the smoothest drivers I ever knew, and when I first saw him drive a Formula car, my jaw dropped. It was at Kailami. I was trackside. The speed that he carried into a corner, which was a double left-hander. A lot of drivers were braking for the first left-hander, going down 2 gears and accelerating to the next left-hander, braking again. He was able to link the two together and just carry the speed from the first left-hander without having to accelerate or brake in between the two corners. He essentially made it one long apex, and it was just poetry. I just couldn't believe that a driver was able to do that. Anyway, he was in Brazil this weekend, and he won the Karting World Championship again for the 5th time in a row. So the reason I've always looked up to him in this regard is in 2007 I qualified for the Rotax Max World Finals in the Senior Max class. I was very much an underdog because I'd never been to a World Championship before, and to be a World Champ, or to even be invited to a World Championship, you had to win your national championship. You know, and that's hard on its own, but what made it really difficult in South Africa was the first 7 world champions in Rotax, or 6 world champions, were South Africans. So I was racing against at least at one point 4 world champions were on the grid when I was trying to win a national championship. So when I finally won it, it was like the most emotional thing in the world. And when I still think about it today, it almost brings me to tears, because it was just so damn difficult. Look at that, guys, trying to keep up with me, and he ran wide. Anyway, I got to the World Championships, having never raced at one before, and proceeded to be quite quick. And in the qualifying heats, which is consisted of a 64 entrants for the Senior Max, split into 2 groups, which created grids of 32. So it was a knockout phase leading into a pre-final and then a final. And in the knockout heats, I was finishing in the top 5 in every heat, which was shocking to me. I got to the pre-final, I finished 5th, which was always the plan, and ended up starting the final 5th. Got up to 3rd place, ran wide while I was catching the leaders, and dropped to 9th, and then in the end finished 5th in the world in 2007. I carry that like a scar on my face. It's like I lost an eye, because I was probably the fastest driver that weekend, but managed to throw it away. Now, since then I've been to watch another Rotax Max World Final. I went last year and came to realize that there are many drivers who go there over and over again by qualifying for their nation and can't even get into the top 10. However, I still give myself a really hard time for finishing 5th and not winning it. But when I realized that all these other guys are still trying, I felt really, I don't know, there was like after 10 years of regretting that race, that final, I suddenly had this like weight lifted off my shoulders when I realized that we are all trying to win this thing, and you really need circumstances to go your way. You know, whoever wins the final is the world champion. It's not like you're scoring points throughout the year. And people like Cristiano Morgado, oh look at that, I got my S ranking back, are truly incredible drivers to be able to win it 5 times, not in a row. I think he won 3 in a row. He won one many years ago, and then obviously won this 5th one now. He is brilliant, and he inspires me to be able to go back one day, hopefully, and try again, which is still very much part of my dream, is to be a karting world champion. And the motivation around that is because my mentor, Claudio Piazzamusso, he himself was a karting world champion, and I want to emulate what he's been able to achieve. So 2 massive goals in my life. One is getting to Le Mans, and the other, hey Mikhail, what's happening, dude? One is getting to Le Mans, and the other is to have one more shot at the Rotax Max World Championship. So to qualify for that World Championship, I'm going to have to find races in Europe which don't clash with any of the GT racing I do, which is now officially, you know, that's my main focus. I tried to do it this year by entering the Italian Karting Championship, but unfortunately, once I had signed a deal with Rinaldi Racing for GT3, it meant that I didn't have time to do the karting. So I wasn't able to do it this year, but I am definitely going to try to do it next year. Just checking a couple of things here. I'm way off the pace. Am I right? Look at that, P8. 31.8, 31.6, Ruffle Waffle, 31.1. And Ruffle Waffle is not even in the top 10. Oh no, there he is. I reckon that if I'm not talking so much, I could find another few tenths of a second this lap time. But I can't do both at the same time. I can't drive super fast and tell you stories. I was with my... Hey Francois, what's happening, dude? And Nicholas, how you doing, man? I was with my 2019 teammate in the weekend, coaching him in the FIA GT Championship. He's a bronze rank driver, Renat Salikov. And we were speaking about our schedule for next year, which I can't really announce yet because nothing is signed. But I can tell you that in January we're actually going to try go to Portugal for a 3-day test. And I'm super excited because last time I drove was beginning of November, I think, or end of October, I can't remember. So we'll be in 90 days out of the car, which I hate. I was hoping to do the Gulf 12 hours this year. I won it last year and the year before, but unfortunately none of the teams needed my services, which is kind of, that's how the sport goes. You know, even though you're a double winner, it whoa even though I was a double winner in the Gulf, I wasn't able to find a seat for the race this year. It's a really awesome race. It's in Abu Dhabi, at the F1 track, and we call it in a holiday race because the pressure's off. It's a one-off race. It's for the guys who are paying for it are often the gentleman drivers, and they just want to have a lot of fun. They do most of the laps, and the pros just fill in the gaps in between. It's a 2 6-hour races effectively split by a 2-hour break, which is one of the quirks of the race, but it's quite cool. Just reading the comments here quickly. My wheel settings, I'm using a Thrustmaster. I have force feedback on. The sensitivity is not that high, the force feedback sensitivity, and I just rely on the standard button layout, except I use the arrows to control the settings for the dashboard. So when I'm scrolling here, I'm using the arrows. Last night I had to turn off the force feedback in the pedals because it was keeping my neighbors awake. So I kind of missed that rumble. I don't like short shifting through there. To me, it doesn't really. You see this? I really don't enjoy this track. Lightning, give me some tips here, man. If any of you are wondering why I wasn't racing in the Nations Cup myself, it's because South Africa didn't enter, and that's because the race is made up of bronze and silver drivers. Thanks, dude. Bronze and silver drivers who are, and someone has to pay for it, so it's usually the bronze driver in the combination. Yeah, this is Sao Paulo, man. And there was no one in South Africa with the budget to be able to afford the race. So I was just there coaching, which is not uncommon for pro drivers to coach their bronze counterpart. That's how the industry stays alive. It's called customer racing. You can replace GT racing with the word customer racing. How the hell did I lose 2/10 there? I think I need to go more rear with the brake balance. At the moment I'm +1. So bizarre talking about rear brake balance as a plus. Okay, so let's try +2 for the race. I think I'm going to be recategorized now because I'm an S driver. So it could be that I don't talk during the next race, and that's because I want to preserve this ranking. No, coaching, it literally, you arrive there with the person who's going to be racing. Often it's a guy who's bought a racing car. You know, he's a fairly wealthy guy, obviously, and he wants to have some fun in racing. Perhaps doesn't have the same amount of experience. Some of them don't have any experience, and you need to teach him what racing lines are. You need to teach him like the mentality of racing, and it depends on their skill level. For example, when I coach Renat, who's my teammate, how's it, Andre? He's been racing for 4 years now, and he's very fast. So I don't need to teach him the overall concept of racing lines. Oh, that's awesome, man. Awesome, dude. So what will happen is, like, a driver will go out, he'll do some laps, he comes back in, he has onboard footage, we download the onboard footage to my laptop, and I'll talk him through sectors where he's not doing the best, or he's not braking late enough, or he's braking too late, missing apexes, some of the basic stuff. I'll teach them a lot of my secrets, which I'd obviously keep to myself most of the time. And during the race or during any qualifying or practice session, I will be with them on the radio. I won't be giving them driving tips, but I'll be like, Renat, the Denmark car is 0.3 seconds quicker in sector 2, try first gear for turn 10 instead of second gear. Or Renat, I think we should go more rear bias, or let's increase the traction control. I can see on the data that your tires are getting quite hot. Those are the sort of details that I will focus on as a driver coach, that I will then teach to the person who's actually driving. And we do this throughout the season. You know, if you're in a pro-am car, the pro is often teaching the am throughout race weekend. And let's just be clear, the pros, if you give a pro a really good setup, he can maybe find 0.2 to 0.3 of a second throughout the weekend. Whereas if you give the am driver more time in the car, they can find up to 2 seconds, depending on the track, even more. For example, Spa-Francorchamps, you can find up to 5 seconds by coaching your gentleman driver or am rank driver to be better. So often you sacrifice your own seat time so you can improve the performance of your am driver, because that is more than likely going to get you on the podium. But you know, I've been lucky this year with Renat. He's at such an advanced level that I'm teaching him more about the mentality of racing. Lots of people can drive fast, but do you know how to compete? Are you a sportsman? Do you think like a sportsman? These are all the questions that, in my opinion, are way more important than where you brake. Because the fastest person in the world, if they don't have a sporting or competitive mentality, they are going to suffer when the pressure is on and all those things. So that's what I'm there to do. I'm there as like a sort of to provide as much advice as I can around the whole concept of racing itself. Okay, so I'm not sure why, but I feel a little bit nervous for this race. Probably because you're all watching. So let me try not talk for a lap, and then we'll go from there. I think the guy in front of us has a remote. Just looking at the movements of the car, he's not using a steering wheel. This always makes it more difficult. You don't need a wheel for this game, but it definitely helps. I'm using one because I use this game to practice my real life driving, so this Ford is so fast in a straight line. Where do I brake after a slipstream? Round robins, it's funny you should ask that, because I've actually started a Patreon account, and one of the things I'm offering is grid passes for any specific race for the highest level. Oh buddy, So if you go to patreon.com/David Perrell, sorry for the punt mid-race here, and you click on the tiers or something, become a Patreon, you should see one of the offers grid tickets for a specific race. Obviously you don't have to, that's the highest level. The highest level on my Patreon account offers grid tickets, but for those of you who just want to support my YouTube channel, where I will be bringing other extra content when I'm back in season next year, you can also support the page and the channel by becoming a patron. So I will link it at the end of this video, but for those of you who want to go check it out now, it's, I think, patreon.com/David Perrell. So far, still nervous about leading this race, and this Ford GT is not slow. But, you know, Chatterbox David has switched on again. Let's have a look behind us. He's right there. Big risk of him overtaking me before the line. On this, if this is how we end the final lap, or how we come onto the final lap, look at this. He will cross the, oh, so, okay. Rather let him lead for now. I don't really have a strategy for this race. It's mostly lead as quickly as soon as I can, get back into the lead. And try to achieve a clean race. It's not ideal. I was hoping to start the final lap in the lead. But let's see what we can do here. Burnout Cobra, I'm coming for you, bro. Or gal. Oh, it's going to be so close. Ah, less than 1/10 of a second. Heart rate's through the roof. Kind of pissed I didn't win that one. You know, the mistake was the final right-hander on the track. I went for the outside because I thought he was going to defend to the inside. They put me on the marbles, so that was a mistake on my behalf. I'll chalk that up I put that in the experience bank. So clean race, but not even the fastest lap. Oh, devastating. Clean race is good. The whole aim here is to boost my SR. Burnout Cobra, thanks for the race, man. That was really fun. Let me save that so I can create a screenshot for you guys. Okay, so I was saying earlier, I have created a Patreon. You can subscribe or join it or become a patron. However, don't feel obliged, because honestly I do this for pleasure. I want to offer something extra. So what I plan on doing in the new year is commentating over my full race stints, and I am going to put that behind a paywall. But I will continue to share onboards on the YouTube channel for free, like the qualifying laps and things like that. So Segan, because I've always used YouTube. If you look at my channel, there's also a bunch of real life vlogs that I've created and onboard videos, which I'm hugely passionate about. So I figured that I'd keep my gaming in the same place as well. YouTube is building up a gaming focus, so that's why I stick to YouTube. I made a mistake of using a Vidler in the late 2000s for my video blog with my brother, and that was a mistake. We lost all of that footage. Kyle, I think you can see I'm in a Mazda now, Group 3. Oh, it's burning me that I didn't win that race. The competitive beast in me wanted to win that one. I have a new follower. Looks like he uses a Tekken avatar. Okay, so let's try to do a lap here that is quicker than my... Yeah, from the couch, mate. So stoked that you remember that. So stoked that you're watching this after having been a From the Couch fan. That is epic. Guys, I do actually hope at some point to create some open lobbies and we can race like that, but I don't think I have the audience yet to have more than like one guy in there. So once the stream starts to get to like, I don't know, 50 concurrent views, I think at that point... JH, what's happening, dude? Thanks for the comment. I'm gonna read it in a second. I saw iRacing there. Full race commentary would be great. Your commentary during streams has helped with my decision making in iRacing. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I honestly do want to boost the quality of my videos, and I will at some point. I need the right streaming device, so I can get the HD quality stuff onto my laptop, and then it's off to the races, excuse the pun. 31.9, not bad. Mikhail, if you're still watching, I would love to do a versus with you, bro. Gran Turismo World Champion or Vice World Champion versus Real Racer. Great opportunity for you to absolutely whip my ass, and an opportunity for me to get some views on the video. smooth acceleration. Will you ever do iRacing? I used to. When I lived in South Africa. I'm not a massive fan, to be dead honest. However, I am going to give it another go next year when I get a PC. But my first game that I'm going to buy when I get a PC and install and use obsessively is Assetto Corsa, because A, I'm in the game, and B, I helped develop I helped the team in certain aspects of the game, specifically the sound effects of braking and one or two elements in track accuracy, which I know that they took on board. So Assetto Corsa is my next purchase. Assetto Corsa, and also a new seat, because I'm currently using a Play seat, but like the Evolution one. It's a Gran Turismo branded one, obviously. Whoopsie. Hello, Apex. And the Play seat is really one of the worst purchases I've ever had, so yeah, JH, you got to listen to how they've managed to get the braking quite realistic. It really is something that I'm stoked that they've implemented. See, when you brake here, all you hear is tire noise, but when you brake in a real life GT car, there's like this massive grinding sound, which is like a combination obviously of the brakes and the ABS. It's quite potent. I will be creating using a face cam at some point. Sorry, these comments are going so quickly these days, I can't actually keep up. So yeah, face cam is on the menu as well, but I want to do it in a way that's a bit more creative. So I'm looking at like how I can implement GoPros at different camera angles and then cut them in to the video where necessary, along with commentary. Yes, pedal cam, face cam, steering cam. I promise you that next year I'm going to jack up the quality. Honestly speaking, when I started this live streaming stuff, like 2 months ago or whatever it was, I wasn't expecting any reception of note. So it's gone better than I anticipated. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, so thanks to everyone who has subscribed. You're all legends in my eyes. And getting a couple of hundred views on the videos, which is a lot in my experience. I've never been one of those guys except for the drone video. Has anyone watched the drone video? I had a drone. I was sitting in my office and a drone randomly crashed through the window and hit me on the head. And I posted that as a video on my YouTube. And people accused me of creating a fake video, which would have been so much effort. I do not have time for that. Nonetheless, that's what I got accused of. The video got like 500,000 views, 488,000 views, you know, but who's counting? And I was on CNN and Fox, and like people phoned me to interview me. DJI threatened to sue me for lying, but it was all true. There's like 100 witnesses, because I wasn't the only person in the office. I got absolutely whacked on the back of my head. I was super lucky because my desk actually faces the window, but I was looking away from the window when it came through, and it hit me. So anyway, somewhere on my YouTube page there's that. Besides that video, I haven't got that many views, so I didn't expect this channel to do as well as it is. It's growing. It is growing. You know, I have a pretty good concept of like how difficult it is to grow business in a technical tech startup and also social media accounts, but I know that every single viewer counts, every single follower counts, every single subscriber and like, so I'm genuinely appreciative when I see even 25 people now who are watching live. That's ridiculous, ridiculous to me in like a good way. I can't believe that people find as much value in this stuff. But at the end of the day, when I was just a sim racer, and I wanted to find out more information about what it's like to race in the real world, I couldn't find that anywhere. So that has always been my aim, is like, how can I provide more information on the crossover between GT racing and real life racing and sim racing. So that is my mission on this YouTube channel, is to at least once a week, whenever possible, do a stream, explain like where I was, like what kind of racing I've been doing, and how I used sim racing on that particular weekend to become a better real racing driver. So here I am starting P5. I'm happy with the setup. I'm happy that I did a quicker lap 31.7 while talking. This is going to be the last race of the evening, so let's make sure. I think a 1 hour sort of live stream / chat podcasty thing is the best way to go about this. So let's make this last race count. This Lexus is coming behind us. He has his move. He has his big move. He obviously can't see that in front of us the leaders are fighting quite aggressively, so it would make more sense to get to them. Appreciate the comments, Francois. Much appreciated, man. I've raced against Iron Striker many times from India. Come on, dude, if you're going to do the overtake, let's get it done. Thank you. Now go. You've been fishing around the whole time. Cost me some SR points there, which I'm trying to gain. And now we've lost time because you couldn't complete a damn overtake in time. So let's get the job done. Oh, dude. Honestly. I'm just going to push him to the fight. Go, go, go. I'm going to keep nudging you. Go, 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 go. Let's try get into the fight. I don't want to finish P5. You've cost me a clean race already, so now I might as well just try and get on the podium. Full focus. Full focus. You know, with the amount of orange SR arrows I've been getting, I feel like I'm going to go back to SRA instead of S. So that's frustrating. All three of us made a mistake into that corner. Charming. Okay, I've got the slipstream, final lap. The guys in front of me are sweating, I'm sweating. Everybody's not enjoying the feeling, but they want to win anyway. It's going to go for the defense. What am I going to do? Somehow made it through there. This guy's been defending brilliantly the whole race, so I'm going to give him that one. Oh, that's the race lost. Can't be put out there, you lose too much time. Okay, so Volkswagen is much quicker in a straight line. Oh, the bump definitely helped me. Obviously I get a SR ranking for that. Oh, damn, another win slips through my fingers. That was very irritating again. I'm just not putting it together today, guys. However, that is 1 hour, and it does wrap up today's quote-unquote live stream show. Thank you to everyone who is watching later as well. I genuinely appreciate it. And I'm hoping to be back online tomorrow for the Oh, look at that. I got bumped back to A. I'm hoping to be online tomorrow to stream the FIA races. Thanks again, and we will chat, yeah, in about 24 hours. Cheers.